evening here in Las Vegas, and I'm living in Henderson, Nevada. Viva Las Vegas. And the reality of living in the year of 2025, as I am getting ready to be 67, as I am 66. And I remember when I was 55, cinquanta cinque. I remember those days, but I'm no longer that. And I can't pretend that I don't understand what's going on, as I moved to Nevada some 5 years ago, and I've been able to observe and watch legislators, and then understanding that this new administration is attempting to violate the Constitution. As, did you realize that in Nevada, these people are paying for summer school? And I'm saying, this is not extra credit. No, this is for people who are just not making it. And I'm just saying, what is the value of public education if so many children are failing it? And what is the object of failure if it's not fraud? And I'm saying that in America, choice is everything. But if you didn't understand that somehow the obligation to all of the states is something called free and appropriate. And you see, who gets to judge what that free and appropriate is? Well, simply it's the parents, right? It's the parents, because the parents have an obligation to their children. Let's help make the light a little bit better. There. It's a little bit better. It really doesn't matter. At the age of 66, getting ready to be 67, I'm good. And I'm going to say that as an American citizen, I understand and fully accept the responsibility and the obligation. I mean, we have to accept the things that we have put upon ourselves. And just think, these people think that they don't have to deal with you. They can sell off your debt and then have an attorney contact you, and then now the attorney firm is going to get your debt. I don't think so, because people have to talk to people, especially when they've agreed to give them some, finances. But, this is just a whole new world. And it really is a whole new world. And, it's the new world order. And that means that people who look like you and I have always had a choice. Hey, as failure's never been an option, but so many people just accept that level of failure. And I'm saying, do you realize that's fraud? And it's simply fraud. I am blessed and highly favored, and you just don't even understand. I have a roof over my head, and I have been blessed, and my children are sustaining themselves. But I'm saying, let's just not pretend anymore that, we as a people have an obligation to ourselves to ensure that people know the way. That song, do you know the way to San Jose? I'm going back. And then somehow, even if she knew the way to San Jose, going back was real. Because some people, that song, some people are made of plastic. Well, some people, they're made of wood. Some people have hearts of stone. But then some people are up to no good. And I'm saying, we have all these great entertainers. And, BOGO is something. I just finding out about it. But Snoop is over there, and he streams live in the evenings. And Neo streams live in the evenings, too. Hey, Emmett. And I'm just saying, now we finally have the ability to reach out to the people who have been paid to entertain us. And, it's more than entertainment, right? Because for whatever reason, these people expect us to do what? Follow their lead. And I'm saying, oh no, I love R. Kelly's music, and he's singing the gospel, and he's been singing the gospel for a long time. And repentance is for his sins, and that's between him and God. But I just want to understand, whatever was going on, I wasn't in the part. I was no part of that. And I try not to pay attention to it, because that's what they do. Oh, well, somebody didn't like something. It really doesn't matter. You choose, but know this. When you start putting out things in your mouth and then they come back and hit you. And so whatever you're saying, make your whatever, and then choice is everything. And and then we've lived through so many people, and then we have Dr. King, and every year, they want you to celebrate what? His murder. So we need to understand that he was murdered for what? His free thought. And as he was a pastor, he was trying to lead some people somewhere, and that's just real. But where we winded up at as American citizens, so many people choose to do nothing because they don't do politics. It's, oh, are you talking politics? And then they just restrict you from their life. And I'm saying, oh, they just quickly throw, and then they say, oh, she's only wanting to talk about education. I'm saying, well, hell yeah, because most people don't even understand. Once you have a child, then that becomes your obligation. That child's success and everything. What that child has access to is all your responsibility. Like you thought about that before, but you weren't thinking about that. And then the baby came, and then it was just real. Because consequences are real, and those babies need more than what you need. Meaning that they have to be cared for, and they have to have a roof over their head. They have to have something called sustainability. And it's not hard if you plan for it. But if you didn't plan for it, it's unfortunate, because homelessness is real. Really a real problem here in Nevada. We have so many people who are homeless, you know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, once you make a choice, then you're 100% down that road, and it really doesn't matter because you can't take it back. Nope. And then they're making it so that if you don't have a choice, once you get pregnant, then you're stuck with and even if you're raped, in the cases of rape and incest, and I'm saying, oh, this is just so sick. But I'm saying, just look at our justice system and who is being unjustly, whatever. And I'm saying, this is when eggs are so much, and then even the prices of avocados have doubled in Costco. And I'm saying so many things you just really don't even understand. But not everybody got the message to raise their prices, because when the hot dog buns went up, and even Rainbow was at $6.99, and I'm saying that used to be $2.99. Now it's $6.99, and I'm saying, oh, but then some people didn't get the message because some people's hot dog buns were still at $2.99. Well, what can I say? Is it the hot dog buns? I don't know. We all have to watch what we're doing in 2025 and understanding that things are going to change. And it is us, it's we, but it matters. It matters who has access to knowledge. And so many people don't even understand. I know how to get on, I know how to stream, I know how to use this, but for a person who didn't know anything about what I was doing, they'd wonder how I did it. And you could just do it because everybody has the same access to all the tools. And that Zoom, I really like Zoom, but I'm going to tell you, they just need to stop trying to charge my account until I get ready to pay them. Because there were some things that were not fixed correctly, and there were some things that people were doing, and the power that people have to do to manipulate your streams is real, because you're not an administrator. You're just you may be a local administrator, but you're not no enterprise administrator. And they done gave all these people all these tools to do what? To know exactly what you're doing at all times. Now they want to take it back. Well, it matters. It matters. Everything matters in 2025. And that's just real. And so failure has just never been an option in public education, although it is mandatory. And I'll say it's mandatory. People pretend that the government doesn't have the right to, and you have so much more rights. But you don't have any rights that the government has to observe, because they simply just take your children from you. There are so many children in the foster care system, and don't screw it up. Don't not have a roof over your head, or don't not have a place to eat. This one woman, she was squatting, and I do mean a squatter. So somebody reported her, and knew these children were in there, so they called the police while she was gone. And the police came and collected her children. They didn't talk about how malnutrition they were. They didn't talk about how undressed they were, nicely dressed, and you know what I'm saying? But they took her children and put them in protective services because they're going to put those children with their people. I mean, the harvest is the harvest, and when you look like the harvest, it's just what you are. I really try to stay out of that realm because I understand the power that people have with this gossip. Spread the word. But it's a shame because people feel so, entitled, I'll say, to talk about people who have not prepared themselves or don't have the level of the resources that you have. But come on now. We're not all where we should be. But we should not have a battle before us just to maintain our own children, our own family structure. I mean, if you have a family, you should be able to access some resources in here. I don't believe there's resources for these families to have. But there's a lot of people, who have these jobs that are in these not-for-profit agencies or not-for-profit, whatever. And guess what? They're getting money out of your taxes. But it's not working for everybody. And because it's not working for everybody, it's problematic. So I like to come and talk about the problematic things that are happening. I have a podcast over there on Spotify. It has over 1,000 shows, and I've had over 16,000 visitors. 16,000 and something. But guess what? It doesn't really matter because they're choosing, and they have the right to choose because they were the people that used to put, they chose who would advertise on their shows and, what would pick up, and it is what it is. But if you don't know the way, it's just unfortunate that you don't, because failure has just never been an option. But when we have special education, and then here in Washoe County, I was surprised, but they were denying a child to medical care. And I'm saying because of whatever behavior, but I'm saying, you see, that's the problem. He understood what he had access to, but when you break a child, then that's what you're doing. You're breaking them. And I'm saying our children don't have to be broken. And I'm saying this is just unfortunate that it's the security of a family, but it's what a family is not anymore. And I'm saying it is what it is. It's just unfortunate, but I understand the value of family. And guess what? We just have to sacrifice. And just because you don't want to sacrifice at the moment, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of personal, right? But it doesn't really matter because the burden is on you. Once you have a child, no matter what that child needs, then you need to figure it out. But, I was so grateful to understand that I met Michael Rosenberg. And Michael Rosenberg, he was a state disabilities counselor for Area Board 3. And, at the time, I needed some support with my middle child because I didn't know what was going on with him, but I took him to a doctor in Sacramento, Dr. Luigi Pachuco. And he told me his son had the similar traits like my son did. And then he told me what he needed. And guess what? He wrote a fine report. And I don't remember if he came to the IEP or not. But I do remember, I know Michael came. And then we just wrote out those accommodations, what my son needed. And then it was amazing. Because once you understand what your child, what you have a right to ask for, then you ask for it, and it's all the peanut butter sandwiches. That's why I thought the state agency, because Joan is not there anymore, and all those underlings that really didn't understand what she understood, because she was operating at a level in which she was negotiating things with people. And I'm saying, but you still don't have the right to negotiate the freedoms of anyone, and all children have the same rights as their non-disabled peer. And I'm saying, don't you understand that? And I think that it's asinine because, see, Nevada's already been told about what they were supposed to do because they were violating the rights of children with disabilities. And they still want to play in that same playground. And I'm saying, oh, how unfortunate. How unfortunate that you don't understand. I mean, my son graduated with a one-on-one aide and a laptop and above proficient. And they said, oh, well, he has this disability, so he probably won't benefit. And I said, oh, really? Well, we'll see. You know, to dream the impossible dream. And that's what it was. Because my son graduated with a one-on-one aide, a laptop, and above proficient, and they didn't want that old raggedy laptop that they gave him. They just didn't want it. And I don't blame them, because it had all those restrictions, so we kept it as a relic. Probably should have given it back. But nobody asked for it. And that's just real. So I have also created a podcast on, what is it, Podbean? It's an app. It's like $9, but it has like boxes where people can call in, and then you can get people that want to follow you and maybe join in the conversation. Like here, I don't think that, well, you can always invite someone up to speak, and anybody can ask to come up and speak, but most people, boy, they ain't got nothing to say. And then, go back to that song. Some people are made of plastic. But then you have to understand, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and then we'll watch them roll away again. And just sitting on the dock of the bay, me waiting, watching the tide roll away. And the music, all the old music was so good. It made you think. But what is it that we think about when we're hearing what we hear? I mean, I like a lot of Kendrick songs, and I understand that the President Obama enjoyed Kendrick too. And I'm saying he's a young man with a vision because he can tell his story. And, he's messing with somebody and that burn came on. And I'm saying, ooh, Lord, I'm trying to teach my sons, cover it up. You're not worth getting the burn or whatever happens. And, you just have to learn yourself, because life is more than just that. Life is so much more. And here we are, pretending we have no power in anything. But we're still all paying taxes, or somebody's paying taxes because somebody's giving you some services somewhere, and it's costing the state to provide services to you. And as long as it does, then you're contributing. But it matters what you choose to contribute. It matters what you know. And I'm saying, but what do you know? Because I'm just trying to understand, how is it so many Americans living here in Clark County have accepted the letter grade of F, and especially these black people? I'm concerned because, they had a 259% issues of willful defiance, and I'm saying, well, what is that? I'm trying to understand, well, what is willful defiance? And as far as I'm concerned, I've been willfully defiant my whole life. My mother used to whip me, and she whipped me a lot, because she was always terrified about what would come out of my mouth. And the real deal is that I'm an American citizen. I have an opinion, and when I buy something, God damn it, it's mine. And it's not mine till I put it on the internet, and then somebody gives me back some permissions, either. And I'm saying, oh, I've got a green light tonight, and usually it's a red light. And quite frankly, red, yellow, green, I don't care about the cautions, because they have nothing to do with who I am. And I'm watching these people, and for whatever reason, they think it's okay that they don't deal with disproportionality. I heard one senator or representative talk about disproportionality here in Nevada. And I said, I'm fortunate that Nevada would have only 14% of the African American students enrolled in Clark County that are scoring at or about their 40th percentile. So what are the other parents? Have they just accepted? And I'm just trying to understand what it is with the people here that failure is an option. And I don't know it anymore, because I don't believe in failure. And no, I have expectations. And I was able to get my son in that cybersecurity class, and it's online. And, I expect him to do the work. That's what I expect. Bottom line, do the work And my other son, he knows all about web design. He got his little AA thing in web design. But, he's a straight up vegan, and he's raising his child as a straight up vegan, and he's doing a book. He's done a book before. He worked for Loving It Live in Atlanta, Georgia. And then, my kids were in Atlanta. They went to Dillard, but, just sending your kids off to this historically black colleges when you're a single parent, it's insane because you have to apply for all the finances. And then my son, in this last year, when Obama was in office, something happened and they cut the funding. And so he just said, forget it. What, 12 units out? And forget it. What are you going to, because your units don't follow you if you don't pay your loans, right? So anyways, but life is not about the student loans. No, life is about learning that you have power when you're living outside of the vessel, meaning that you gotta choose to be who you're gonna be, and then you have to act on it. And then there are people. There are comedians, and then there are entertainers, and I'm just a conversational person. I like to, and I'm not trying to bring anybody to you, but I'm trying to get you to understand that failure was never an option, but public education is mandatory in America, and as it is, we should have an expectation that the benefit goes to our children. But if your children are failing, then you have a right to have an assessment. You need to understand that failure, and you need to understand that they've already figured out this learning thing. They're kinesthetic learners. That means they have to touch something. They're visual learners. They're verbal learners. And you have a right to have the support that you need in a manner that you can adapt to. And that's just real. But, they should be measuring what is considered the maintenance of effort. And then Nevada don't ever have no data. And they think that shit is funny, I guess. But I'm sick of the federal government giving them leeway. They've just given them permission to screw everybody. But when these people are down here and they're living on the street and they're living homeless and they're making decisions that bring harm to themselves, guess what? They don't know no better. And I'm saying there should be a pathway provided where people can navigate it. Hell, even out here, there's no navigation unless it's by the word of God. Because God will bring you what you need, and it really doesn't matter. You'll get everything you need if you have faith, and that's just real. So I am a faith-worthy person. I know that the Lord has blessed me. I got a roof over my head, and we're going to keep that roof over our head. We're going to deal with the people of the past so we can deal with the people in the present. And I'm saying that, I have lots of knowledge. My kids have all been successful. I had one that was gifted in gate. What difference did it make that he was in the gate classes? Well, it didn't teach him independent. It didn't teach him independence. It didn't teach him self-sustainability, but it taught him how to navigate. So he can navigate this shit, and that's just real. Okay. And then I have one that has really great social skills and is able to be very observant. And then I have the last one, who is just who he is, but he's like a peace person, a moderator. And I'm saying I have a great family, and I appreciate it. And I'm just saying, what kind of family did Abraham Lincoln have? I don't know. And then, that Malcolm and Martin and Medgar and all those famous black individuals. And then we got Denzel Washington, who has realized that he is somebody to be reckoned with because he has a voice, and people are struggling to figure it out. Like, what goes up, that song must come down. Spinning wheels have got to go around. Talk about your troubles, it's a crying shame. Yeah, that was real. That was real way back in the day. And life is about back in the day, but it definitely is about in 2025. And so here we are, living in America. And is America all be about bougie? There are bougie people who just deal with people who have money because they want to put themselves in a place where they want to believe that they are. And everybody has a choice, fans only. And where them fans at? I got a fan. And I was just realizing, we got fans around here. Oh, this is not the one. That should not be the one, but this is the one I got when it tore. I was gonna put some glue on it because it did tear. But I got other fans, and this is a beautiful fan. Look at that fan. Do 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 do. And I'm saying, you like that too. But then, just understand, survival is key. Survival is everything. And if you don't have the basics, then you ain't got shit. And that's just real. So, when so many people who look like me are not making it, but the money keeps coming to the state to provide services to, they say equity, all, right? And then we say, okay, well, how's that affecting African American kids? Because, you say only 14% of them are making or at the 40th percentile for reading and math. And I'm saying, what are the school sites doing? And then you really can't even ask those questions because they pretend that they don't have to answer you. And I'm saying that disproportionality, and I'm saying that the inability of the African American elected officials to address the needs of the African American community as failure has become an option. But when they have an 88% population of black children in the juvenile justice system here, and they want to talk about this crime thing, but I'm saying when you're not feeding anybody, I'm trying to hit something. When you're not feeding anybody, you're not helping anyone. It's concerning, and that's what I'll say. Life is concerning. Let's just keep this camera up here so we can watch what's behind us. And that's just real. And I'm saying, they have lots of services that are in. Something not right here. Oh, I didn't unplug it. I unplugged it. And so I'm not charging. There we go. They're not charging. There. It's getting warm out here. I'll tell you. It is 83 degrees out here. And you know what that means? That this summer it's going to be really, really hot. Yep. Very, very hot. I remember it got like 120 something on the patio. You just couldn't be out here because it's still over 100 at night. But I'm not exactly sure. We have so much work to do as a community, and then we don't even have the foundation. I mean, we haven't brought in, what we're not doing is bringing the community, the black community together. I don't care if Obama was a president. He was an amazing president, but now he's not the president. But he still is building capacity in Chicago. And then the black people here that have been elected or put in position, they come sometimes in the community and they try to meet with the people. But it's just unfortunate that somehow these conversations of where we are in 2025 are not really happening because, the overseers, meaning that the people that were getting paid the money to provide the pathway for you, like the governor and stuff like that, he has these committees, right? Workforce investment committees, and he has all these committee programs. And it's just amazing how this committee support is not providing support for everybody, and that's just real. So we just have to understand that in America, failure should not be an option. Yet and still, zero tolerance and failure to comply, and the unalivement of people like Ahmaud Arbery, and all of these young people, lives have ended so soon and suddenly. And then I'm saying George Floyd, we all watched that. But as Americans, taxpayers, like April 15th, we ain't paying attention to that April 15th because everybody's working and it's paying them taxes because the money comes directly out of your check. And you don't get a choice in paying taxes. Just like whenever they decide to take money from you, they just take it just because they can. Yeah, because they can. And so, when they cut your check, you don't have a right because to tell you what the state is allowed can pay you up to, but not necessarily. And I'm saying, irregardless of your circumstances, it really doesn't matter because you're going to get whatever the state says you're entitled to. Yeah, because California was paying more money. Because when we moved here, they cut the check because they could, because that's what they do. And I'm saying, so when the big C happened and all those people were getting the food stamps and stuff, some people were getting crazy amounts of food stamps, and that's just real. But hey, what can I say? It is what it is. You know, it's your circumstances in life. And, if you've been prepared for or not, but if you've not prepared for anything, then what? As failure is just what it is. And so here we are, living in the year 2025, and there's no real conversation as to success. Because, we have all these black entertainers coming to Nevada, and the tickets are like crazy. And I'm not paying to go see a black entertainer. No, we got all that albums and music and CDs. We got all that in there. And if I want to put it out, I can play it and I can still enjoy it right just like I was in there. And I'm not paying to do that. No. No, because, when I'm looking at who's speaking up for the people who look like me, and I try to say a little bit of something, then I am muted or people don't want to hear it. And they really don't. So why should they have to hear about that Clark County had a 259% issues of willful defiance? And I said, well, what does 259% issues of willful defiance actually look like? Because I'm confused. And then they had an 88% population of black children who were in the in the juvenile division. And I'm saying, but then for the federal government to find Nevada guilty of violating the Title II rights of children with disabilities, and then to hear this case come out recently about how they're refusing to pay for the child medical services. And I'm saying, because, oh no, you can find out that, you see, we have special education for a reason, because we reach way down and we say all children have the same rights as we are all human beings. And so, the thing that what America's having a problem with is treating all Americans as American citizens. That's what they're having a problem with. And it might be unfortunate, but as long as I'm a citizen, I'm going to remain free to the best of my ability. And I'm saying, but when someone commits fraud against you, you have to call it for what it is. And so it is what it is. And that's what I can say. So you have to dream that impossible dream and be all you can be. And understand that, Diana Ross is still living. Mary Wells is not. And Marvin Gaye is not. And I'm saying, but the music lives on. But you can't play it in your background because, they will redirect you. So the only place you can live and enjoy your music is in your box. And then you get to do whatever you want to do. But then that's why I pay for Spotify. Now I'll pay for YouTube so I can, enjoy what I like to do. And I upload my videos and stuff over there to Spotify simply because, well, I pay for it. But then I had the channel over there for a long time. It was over there on Anchor, and that's when they were giving you a little few pennies, and they took them pennies back and tried not to give you anything. And I'm saying, oh Lord, you people have lost your mind, because I haven't. And failure's just never an option. But I'm waiting for the black people to figure out that it's their responsibility to have these conversations and hold the state accountable. For what? For the inability of the people who look like you to make it at all levels. And I'm saying, just get a clue. Pimpin' ain't easy, but some people do it very well. And what can I say? Escorting is not that other escorting here. And they have a name for all of that. But whatever it is, people are making money. This is Born in the USA. So y'all have a blessed day. I'm out of here. But check out my show over there on Spotify, Parent Empowerment Half an Hour. And subscribe. And please follow me. I'm trying to get some followers, but I only got like 7. 16,000 views, but only 7 followers. And then of course, my Podbean account, Citizen Anderson over there on Podbean. But until we meet again, y'all, have a blessed day.